Welcome back to Rocky River 4x4, and as the title suggests in this big box in front of me, we're going to be reviewing the Badlands 3-ton off-road jack. Now, I had to purchase this. It was a little bit over $300, but with that being said, this video is not sponsored by Badlands. It's not sponsored by Harbor Freight or any of its affiliates. But I got this for two reasons. One, I'm going to be putting a lift on my Land Rover, and I needed something that can lift it up high enough to where the tires and suspension will relax so I can install my lift. But also, I want to see how off-road capable / useful it is, because a lot of people just use a farm jack and a bunch of other different things, and so this is very expensive compared to a farm jack, which, while it's Harbor Freight, I saw one and it was about $89. So this is definitely a purchase for a specific reason, and my specific reason will be to put it on, to be able to put my lift on, but also we will try to use it when we are out in the cut, because it says off-road, so it better be for off-road use. But tomorrow, I will be taking this out with me to all my job sites and essentially lifting my work truck and seeing how much weight it can handle and see how off-road worthy it is. But for today, we will do an unboxing and see if all the things they say about it is true and see how heavy it is and blase blase. So let's get into it. So just like every other jack you've ever purchased, it's disassembled. So, as you guys can see, this is our first layer. It's the wheels and some other components, which I can't tell until I pull it out. Oh, this is the extension. This looks like all the tools and bolts and stuff. Here's the tires. Now I will say, just from touching these tires, I thought these were gonna be somewhat junk tires, and they seem actually pretty good. They actually got a decent bearing in them, and I'll get it closer so you guys can see. This is the rear, and this is the front. They're pretty meaty, and they are plastic, of course, but in the picture, they seem a little bit more narrow. So hopefully with a wider tire, this might actually do well off-road. Take that off. And then we got the big bad mamma jamma. Now this is a 3-ton lift, so we shall see, because I have another 3-ton lift. It's a Craftsman, and it's just a regular floor jack. But we'll see in weight comparison how much heavier this is. This is a solo dolo, so be patient with me. There's that. It's decent. It's decent size and weight and all that. You can tell from how big it is compared to the table. This is the bar for the jack. Now, I will say, oh, it does actually come with a handle, so you can actually pick it up a little bit easier too. That's kind of nice. So what I'm gonna do, guys, is we're gonna go ahead and get this assembled, and we shall see what it looks like completely put together. So let's go ahead and get it assembled. So guys, now that we got this assembled, there are a few things I want to talk to you about when it comes to assembling this. One, this little plastic block was wedged right here, and it prevented me from lifting and lowering this, and I didn't know what was going on until I looked closely, because it's all black, of course. What you have to do is you got to push this down and then slide this out. Another thing is, there is no instructions for the extension mount outside of install it. It's all it says, is pretty much install it. So I will show you. The mount goes right here. There's 2 screws that go with it. Once you start assembling it, you'll figure it out. But just as a reference, that's where it goes. So one thing I do want to say about what makes me happy about this is that it has a very low silhouette. And what I mean by that is there's another version, there's other versions of an off-road jack, and the extension kind of sits high, But also, once I uninstall this, and I slide these 2 bars, well, it's 1 bar now, but once I disassemble it's 2 bars. If I put a bungee cord or a ratchet strap around this thing, this is as big as it gets. It is very nice. I like the size. Now it is a chunky boy. It's quite heavy because for my surprise, which I haven't tested anything yet because we'll be doing that tomorrow, is that this video does not show how kind of thick the metal is and everything. When I buy Harbor Freight stuff, I'm expecting cheap, you know, thin metal, and all this metal is pretty thick, and the tires are beefy and they're very hard plastic, and I'm really impressed with the initial build quality of this thing. So let's go ahead and fast forward till tomorrow, and I'll show you guys me using this out in the field. Alrighty guys, so we got this out in the field, and it is a pain in the neck to transport. There's no real good way besides strapping it down through the handlebars. And another thing is that though it has this strap, I wish it was further back, because a lot of the weight, once I'll show you, I'll pick it up, it's not so centered. I mean, it's okay. It doesn't teeter when you pick it up just by the handle, but I wish it was further back. But I guess you can't have everything. But it rolls really well off-road. I mean, no effort whatsoever. So I did find a spot here. I did find a spot for me to test this. It's on the softest sand I could find. I even dug it up a little bit to try to make it even softer. So let's go ahead and tighten this up. And another thing is, guys, since these wheels only go forward and back, this locking mechanism is so you can kind of pick it up and turn it. So that's why I have it locked right now, and which is actually a pretty nice feature, and you don't have to fight the lift as much or try to pick it up. So let's go ahead and get this lined up. Let's lower this a little bit. Let's make sure we're tight. Alrighty. Now we're just gonna give it a few pumps. We're gonna see. Now I'm doing this with my left hand, and very little effort. I mean, I'm out of breath because I'm fat and old, but this is quite easy compared to other jacks I've had. So let's keep going with this. And we can see the wheels are starting to dig in, but which I'll show you guys later once we get out from underneath this belly plate, once it digs in all the way, you have all of that surface area to stabilize the jack and kind of prevent it from digging down even further. So eventually, even though the wheels will dig in, the whole lift won't dig in. So just keep going up and up and up. So we're off the ground already with that few little pumps, and I can take that tire off and everything. And let's see how much rotation I need to lower it down and how smooth it lowers it down. See, that's pretty smooth, guys. And then once it's down and out of the way, we just lightly pull back. I'm really impressed with this, guys. It's a little bit of a monster to deal with, but once you get in position and all that, it's wonderful. And the plate that I was explaining to you is this one. This whole thing, once these wheels and it bellies, you got all of that surface area to prevent it from sinking any further in the ground. I wish it rained recently. I would definitely do this in mud, but look how soft this sand is. And it did really well considering, you know, these are just, what, maybe an inch to inch and a half, about an inch and a half of surface area. So, I mean, you gotta think, it did really well even on the soft sand, and then once it starts to hit the belly plate, you got all of that surface area. So now that we've tested it in the field and seen it, I'm gonna take you guys back to the garage and see how it compares to a normal lift. And yeah, let's get to it, shall we? Alakazam. So guys, I want to say before I get off that this was a wonderful purchase. I'm very happy. I got it. I used it a few more times off camera for my job actually, and it worked wonderful. I was actually able to move a empty 500-gallon tank with it, and there's a few other things I used besides this, but it made my job easier. So that was actually a wonderful surprise. I was actually able to use it for more than just off-roading. But I'm going to be honest with you, there are a few things I don't like. And I've mentioned one of them earlier in the video, is this thing is a burden to transport. I cannot find a Badland mount. What I mean by that is Badland actually makes a mount for this thing. There are aftermarket, but I've noticed that those aftermarket ones look a little sketchy. This thing is very heavy and very bulky, and I feel like if you mount it on the outside of your vehicle, it's going to get caught on something, and if that mount isn't secured to the chassis of the vehicle you have, that mount and this jack are going to go with wherever it wants to go, because it's going to get ripped off, it's bounced off, a trillion different things that could happen. So I wish there were better mounts for this thing and better ways to secure this thing when transporting it. Another thing I've noticed, that Badland doesn't have the same customer support as other companies. They don't offer every individual piece on here to just buy so that you can repair the jack yourself, where other off-road jacks have that capability. Harbor Freight / Badland has always had great return policies, but I really don't want to have to return this whole thing or argue if it was maluse or, you know, it broke because it was faulty design. I would rather just, you know, buy the little individual bolt or, you know, nut or tool or whatever the case may be and just fix it and move on. Because let's be honest, the more your off-road equipment looks like it gets used, the more respect you have. Nobody likes a brand new shiny piece of equipment. But all that being said, guys, I am very happy with this purchase, and I hope to be able to show you guys me using this while putting those on. So that will be actually our next video, is me putting a suspension lift on Jebel, and I'll be doing it in my driveway, and so we will be seeing this again. So thank you guys for watching the video, and you know, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, all that mess. And you know, if you guys have purchased this already and you're stumbling upon my video, you know, make sure you put in the comment section like what issues you come across, or you know anything that deals with the Badland off-road jack. You know, go ahead and let us know and let the community know, because there might be something I missed. Like I said, I haven't put this 100% through the ringer, but this thing has been out for a while, so I know a few of you guys probably have. So with that being said, guys, I'll catch you on the next video.